going, Scoob? Don't tell me we're getting sucked into cyberspace again! I'm afraid we are, Reggie! Help! Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back with another one of my famous movie reviews. And if you didn't see the title or thumbnail, I'm doing a second look review, aka revisit edition of Scooby-Doo and the Cyberchase. Yeah, I actually remember reviewing this movie almost a year ago. And you know what? Since it's still the Halloween season, I guess it doesn't hurt to give this one a second look treatment. Now, as usual with these revisit edition videos, you pretty much know what to expect if you saw my original review. But in case you guys need like a little recap, which I wouldn't blame you, like computer zoinks, Scooby and the gang must face their most electrifying adventure ever when they get zapped into the high-tech computer game in this all-new movie. When Scooby-Doo and the gang try to capture the Phantom Virus, they are accidentally transported into a video game based on their own Mystery Inc. adventures. While pursuing the Phantom Virus through the game's 10 outrageous levels, oh boy, the gang travels from the prehistoric past to the space-age future, and even tangle with a hair-raising horde of virtual villains from the most famous Kuipers. Oh man, honestly, I'm actually glad I got a chance to give it a second look, aka revisit edition treatment, because this movie is still quite enjoyable. As usual with these type of movies, especially Scooby-Doo movies in general, this movie does has a great and interesting story with a beginning, middle, and end. Still has some of the greatest characters ever. I do like the idea of Scooby and the gang traveling through cyberspace. Honestly love the villain of this movie, the Phantom Virus, which I'm pretty sure I might have said this before, but he is one menacing looking fella. And most of all, I honestly think the casting choices is still pretty great. I mean, B.J. Ward still voiced Velma, Scott Innes as Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, Frank Welker as Fred Jones. And this is actually, I think I said this before in my original review, but this is the first movie to have Grey DeLisle Griffin be the voice of Daphne Blake in this movie, which I honestly think she did a pretty decent job. Because I think she did so well that she would later come back to the franchise as Daphne again in What's New, Scooby-Doo, which was probably like a new series back in 2002. And I think both that show and this movie were probably in production somewhere between 2001 and 2002. I mean, I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. As stated in my original review of this movie, seeing Mystery Inc. go through different levels to collect a box of Scooby snacks is pretty interesting. Even though, to be fair, Scooby and the gang are no strangers to the video game world. Because I think there were like a few Scooby-Doo video computer games back in the 80s and 90s. And there have been several Scooby-Doo video games throughout the 2000s. Like Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights and Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, for example, which I haven't played but seen various videos of those games on YouTube. One of my favorite moments from the movie is during the big finale at the 10th level. We actually got a chance to see the gang meet their cyber doubles. Cyber Scooby, Cyber Shaggy, Cyber Fred, Cyber Daphne, and Cyber Velma. I also find it interesting how Cyber Shaggy is wearing his red shirt and blue pants. And I think that is meant to be like an Easter egg to a time when real Shaggy actually wore a red shirt and blue pants. And the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers, Ghoul School, and Reluctant Werewolf. And I think it was referenced in Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. And yeah, I know I already mentioned that before in my original review of this movie, but I guess it doesn't hurt to give it a little reek. I guess it doesn't hurt to remind you guys, or at least bring it up again. It's actually cool to see the old school Mystery Machine make a comeback in this movie, mainly in the cyber world. And funny enough, I think during its groovy song from Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, we actually did get a little callback to the gang's original design, as well as the original design of the Mystery Machine, which I pretty much already pointed that out in my review of Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. It is pretty, and I think there was like a Scooby-Doo and a Cyberchase video game that was like, that actually came out first, and I think this movie was somewhat inspired by the video game, which is pretty rare for a Scooby-Doo video game to get its own movie adaptation at some point. Yeah, I honestly think that the Phantom Virus is probably the most menacing villain of them all. I mean, he could give the 10,000 volt ghost and Charlie the Haunted Robot a run for their money. I mean, if they use money. Oh, you know what? It probably would have been cool if Charlie the Robot and the 10,000 volt ghost did show up in this movie during the 10th level, when Mystery Inc. and the Cyber Gang has to face Iron Face, the Creeper, Jaguaro, Gator Ghoul, and the Tar Monster. I mean, okay. Maybe that would have been way too many villains to keep track of, but you never know. Sort of a missed opportunity for the 10,000 volt ghost and Charlie the Haunted Robot to now appear in this movie. Even though I'm starting to notice that you guys might think that they might not serve much of a purpose in this movie. But who knows? Maybe in an alternate universe / timeline, the 10,000 volt ghost and Charlie the Haunted Robot would have appeared in this movie. Even though this movie may not be 100% perfect according to most Scooby-Doo fans, I honestly think this is a fun film to enjoy. Whether you're a fan of Scooby-Doo and video games in general. I mean, I should know. Sometimes I would play Angry Birds and Mario Kart from time to time. And I do occasionally watch various Scooby-Doo movies and TV shows on DVD and VHS, as you see here in my Warner Brothers media collection. And the idea of Scooby and the gang going to different levels to collect the Scooby snacks is quite interesting. And you know, I honestly think Scooby-Doo and the Cyberchase is still a fantastic movie. Is it 100% perfect? Maybe to you guys it's probably not, but hey, sometimes we can have a lot of fun with this movie. And this movie does come with an after credits scene, with each gang sharing their own favorite moments about the movie, which I'm guessing is sort of like a big fourth wall joke. And funny enough, I probably didn't mention this before in my original review, but I did point out a few animation mistakes, like when Velma explaining how the game works on the moon level. You can actually hear Daphne's voice coming out of Velma's mouth, which is kind of funny. And during the 10th level, when both Scoobies are trying to hide from Jaguaro on a Ferris wheel, both of them turn into a regular Scooby-Doo. And later on in the movie, when they try to outrun him on the water slide, both of them turn into Cyber Scooby. Those are like funny little animation mistakes. And those are like one of those blink and you'll miss it animation mistakes. But if you guys happen to watch this movie on VHS and DVD, or at least saw it on Cartoon Network at some point, just keep an eye out for those animation mistakes. Because it kind of got a laugh out of me a little bit. Probably one of those, I think it's one of those so bad it's good type moments. Or whatever you call it. And I guess I didn't mention this in my original review, but hey, better late than never. But yeah, it is still pretty weird hearing Daphne's voice come out of Velma's mouth and on the moon level. I guess they must have accidentally animated Velma to say that line instead of Daphne. Still a common mistake. But moving on from that, I think Scooby-Doo and the Cyberchase is a very enjoyable movie. And since I gave it a second look review, it still totally deserved it. I'll give it 5 digital computers out of 5. Since that's how enjoyable Scooby-Doo and the Cyberchase is. So I'm glad you guys were able to check out my second look review of this movie. And so, make sure you guys have a fantastic day. And it's game over for us.